Here we go. All right. So welcome everybody. If you want to, I would love for you to turn on your video, but if you could keep your microphone on mute just during this bit. And then at the end, we can all get together and have a good old chat. And I'll take any of the questions that you want. I'm so stoked that you made it to the live event. Thank you so much. I know time is precious. I'm going to try and get this wrapped up in an hour today. If you need to leave during the event, if something happens, like someone pops up to your house or you're working, then that's totally cool. No apologies. You don't need to make any apologies, okay? I'm just really stoked that you're here. So the new Primalista license, what have we got so far? Well, we've got the bakery, which you probably already know about. I'd love to if you could let me know in the chat group if obviously you've already heard of Primal Alternative, how long you've heard about us, what have you tried, how did you hear about us? I love hearing those stories. So let us know in the chat if you've come across us already. Maybe you've just come across the concept but never bought the product yet. So we've already got our bakery, which has been established since 2014. Started off just with little old me and now grown somewhat. And that's our baked goods, ready to eat range. And then about 2 years ago, we brought in the packet mix range. And 2 weeks ago, we brought in the granola. And just as the granola launched, there's something new came. And I had to apologize to the Primalistas. I said, sorry if this is all too much all at once, but turns out it's such a simple new thing that you're just going to go, oh my goodness, and of course. So I can't wait to share with you. So Coral says she's got poor internet, no dramas. I will be sending a replay. I've got dollar signs in Gundawindi. I love the names of Australian places. They're so cool. Gundawindi. Let me know if I said that right. And dollar signs says that they joined up ages ago, but then got a full-time job, but still really keen. Oh, glad to hear. It's a bit of a slow burner, this. Oh, Kylie's here. Hi, Kylie. Oh, I've got all my Primalistas, potential Primalistas that I'm hanging out with this afternoon. Yay, can't wait. Deborah says, still in lockdown. Sucks. Seriously, Deb, totally feel for you. I think it's horrendous how our Victorians are living like battery hens at the moment. Really not cool. Dana says she saw Primal Alternative all over and heard me speak at Life Changing Foods event in the HBF Arena. Oh, that's so long ago, 2 years ago. Kerry says, my video won't allow me to turn on. I think it's because you did too much talking at the beginning when you had your mic on when you weren't supposed to, Kerry. So there. Sharon's from the New South Wales South Coast. Long-time watcher and love of the product. Thank you. So cool. All right. So what am I going to cover today? I am going to explain how Primal Alternative, just like something primal, has evolved. And the Primalista license, seriously, just got twice as good. It's blowing my brain cells and I'm so excited about it. The new model is easier and it's easier to get council approval with as well. And I don't know if you know this or not, but because there's always a silver lining, right? And, you know, it's not cool for Deb being in lockdown in Victoria and everybody else there as well. But there is silver linings to COVID. And one of them is that there are some current council exemptions for getting your food business registration. So I'm going to get into the details of what those are. Kylie's going to turn on a video once she finishes her breakfast. What's for breakfast? I'm obsessed with what people have for breakfast. What did you have for breakfast? And so what we're going to really look into is now the right time. You know, we're in a global pandemic, a huge recession. Is now the right time to start your own business, or is it better to stick to something safe? We're going to dive into that today. I'm going to take all your questions. I'm going to explain how this all works, how much it costs, what the startup costs are, and as promised, I've got a heap of bonuses and giveaways today because I'm so excited about this. It's boring just talking into a microphone and a computer without anybody there. So I'm super stoked that you're here, and I'm going to give you some goodies just for being here. And I'm not going to beat about the bush. I will be giving away a couple of goodie boxes for those of you who talk to me the most. So don't be shy. Have a chat to me, because just me and my goldfish, in my office. So, oh, Pam Schramm. Pam is already a Primalista. If you have the old model but not the council approval, will it change? Depends. It's going to be easier to get council approval this way, just getting a pen. Yeah, and as a current Primalista, don't worry, loads of existing Primalistas have signed up for the big reveal. I was like, you don't need to come, you already know what it is. Because obviously you've already told the Primalistas what's going on. But totally cool. Grab your pen and hopefully you can take something away from this too, Pam Schramm. All right. So the deal today is I've got a couple of goodie boxes to give away for those of you who talk to me heaps and keep me company, keep me and my goldfish company. And if you book, so the call to action today, what I want you to do from being at this webinar is to book your interview. So the link to that is primalalternative.com/apply. Now I've already got Kylie and Christine are already booked in for this afternoon. And because you've come to a webinar, totally going to give you a packet mix and some cookies just because you've made this huge contribution and commitment. But for the rest of you, head over to primalalternative.com/apply during the live event. And if you have any problems with booking your interview, I can help you through with it. And I'll be able to see and double check that it's worked and let you know if it's come through at my end. So the interview is, so this webinar is all like the how it works, right? And when we get through to the interview, which is really just a chat like this on Zoom, but it's just me and you, there's no slides, there's no other people, it's just me and you. And what we'll be doing is looking at your circumstances and looking at your stockist potential, how you're going to fit this business model into your life, and how much you want to earn to make it feel worthwhile. Okay, I'm excited too, Christine. Can't wait to see you this afternoon. It's going to be cool. All right, so very quickly, just a bit of backstory as to how this all started. So by way of introduction, my name is Helen Marshall, but you can call me H, please. Even my dad calls me H. And I live on the south coast of Western Australia in Albany. And I'm married to Mike the Chippy. And this is not to him, I'm not married to him. He's my son, Sam, 17, who's now as tall as me. This picture was taken in February and he's shot up. And Millie, who is our daughter, and she's 10 and a half. And the Primal Alternative model started with my health crisis. And I'd love to know in the chat group, are you feeling me on any of these symptoms? Hang on a minute. Let me just go in and just manage you all. Current new participants will be muted. Yes, continue. Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because sometimes if other people's mics are on, I can't hear it, but there's this background noise. Okay, so we'll unmute when we get to the Q&A section, but feel free to put your video on so I can see your beautiful faces. Where was I? Right, so let me know in the chat group. So the chat group, for those of you who've just joined, is in the top tab, and there's 3 buttons. It says more. You click on that, and then the first option is chat. It's slightly different navigation from your phone, but you'll be able to find it, right? So chat to me. So I'd love to know if you are here because you're on a health journey. Oh, come on, there we go, right. So I was a victim of the food pyramid, eating a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet. You have to say that, you have to think about that before you say it, because it's so the other way around now, right? And I did everything healthy. We didn't eat junk food. We bought organic fruit and veggies. And I could not understand why at the age of 38, I couldn't go to the toilet. I think I did about, I don't know, there's no such thing as TMI in these circles of gut health. I think I did about 3 poos a week. They're about that big. So I was a complete toxic, excess estrogen nightmare. Even though I was eating my all bran for breakfast every day, I had severe constipation, couldn't sleep. I just felt queasy. You know that feeling? Queasy. Even the word makes me feel bleh. Just felt sick all the time. Never was sick, but just felt it to the point where I'd be sitting on the toilet on a night, shaking, not knowing what was going to happen. You know, am I going to get the shits? Am I going to puke? What's going to happen? I'd just be sitting there and shaking and thinking, this is horrible. My whole body was in so much pain from the chronic inflammation that I had to take Nurofen all round the clock. When I was pregnant with my daughter, my reflux was so incredible that I nearly choked every night when I went to sleep and lay down. So heaps of digestive issues. Obviously, when your gut is in such dysbiosis like that, along comes depression and anxiety and phobias. So I developed a fear of flying. Did not know it was related to my gut at all until I cleaned up my gut and started flying everywhere before 2020. And also developed a phobia of the kids getting sick. Now, I know no mother wants their kid to get sick, right? But for me, it was just like this dark hole, this vortex. And anyone who's had depression understands. You just think, oh, here we go, I can't stop it. And I tried to slap on affirmations and think myself well, but it didn't work at all. And so this was me, and it was pretty gross and horrible. So in my dark night of the soul, my intuition blurted out, I think I just need to go gluten-free. And I was really shocked that I said that, but put it on Facebook that I was going to go gluten-free. And a couple of my friends said, oh, well, if you're going to go gluten-free, why don't you go paleo? And that was like 2014. And so paleo was kind of like new to me anyway in the country. And so I found out about this paleo and decided I'd go the whole hog and ditch grains. So grains, in case you don't know, or you want a little refresher, are full of anti-nutrients, which basically means that good stuff in your body, like nice minerals like magnesium and iron, they need to bind with the anti-nutrients from grains so that they can leave the body. So it depletes you when you eat it. It's also full of phytates, lectins, and gluten. So the phytates are the things that the plant seed doesn't want to be digested by you. It wants you to eat it and poo it out somewhere else so it can continue to live and grow somewhere else. But so we don't do very well with those, right? Obviously, as well, a lot of grains now are genetically modified. They're sprayed with glyphosate and other pesticides and herbicides. And grain products these days are full of preservatives and additives. If you pick up any bread type product in the supermarket and look at the ingredients and tell me that you know what all those things are. Because the humble loaf of bread in just 100 years has transformed into some kind of Franken bread product. So much more away from just yeast and wheat and water, which is what it used to be. Anyway, back to my health story. I felt amazing. Ta-da! After about, I don't know, a few weeks, started to feel a lot better. And then after about 3 months, I knew that there was no turning back. And I was on this steady incline, and it's continued ever since to get better. And I knew from my past life as a gym instructor, and also just as working in recruitment, talking to women all the time and hearing about their health stories and what their goals were to do with health, I knew that I wanted to help other people reclaim their health just with food. I mean, how easy is that? Just ditch those things. So I ditched grains and industrial seed oils and sugar and embraced plants and animals. It was that easy. It wasn't that easy, but it is once you get into the swing of it. If you wanted to summarize it, it's just meat and veg, right? And so I became a health coach to help other people on this journey. But they said, oh my God, are you serious? You mean I can't eat bread anymore? And how the hell am I going to get my kids to eat this? I hope you're laughing along. Give me a ha 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 in the chat if you are, because we're all like, oh my God, yes, I've been there. It's just one of those really, this way of eating is one of those really sort of difficult protocol-y type things that you've got to stick to, where you've got to make so much stuff from scratch, like bone broths and homemade mayonnaises, and you can't buy ketchup anymore from the supermarket because it's got too much sugar in it, too many carbs. You've got to make your own. And what if you've got an egg allergy or a nut allergy, or you've got to do autoimmune paleo? It just gets more and more and more. And if you're doing gaps, well then hallelujah, you might as well just start sleeping in the kitchen because of there's so much prep. So I decided that I would help my health coaching clients by making some food for them, because my husband had said to me, we're not going paleo without cookies. So I'd already come up with a cookie recipe, already come up with bread and pizzas, and I was making jellies for the kids because guess what? They didn't want to chug down on bone broth all day long. And it was a good way to get some gut healing gelatin into their system. So I started cooking for my clients and I put it on Facebook and literally got 3 people saying, yeah, I'll buy one of your loaves of bread. I sold it at under cost. I did it illegally. I didn't know you needed a food business registration to sell food to the public. I just thought I was being a nice person, but nearly got into a lot of trouble, but didn't. I've got a really cool environmental health officer, thankfully. And that's where it all started. And I'd become friends with my farmer, because you have to, right? You can't just buy your meat from the supermarket anymore. You've got to be friends with your farmer and make sure that the cows are living their best life before you eat them. And he said to me, oh, Helen, all of that to and froing on Facebook, you should get yourself a stall at the market. He talks like that, calls me Helen, and he sells beef. And I hope you liked my Aussie impressions of a farmer. So I got a stall at my little humble Golden Hill Steiner School, $10 stall, and bingo, I was selling $500 worth of product at the market in no time. And I knew that these products were life-changing. They changed my life. It transformed from fussy kid, never eating anything paleo, to totally being down with eating pizzas and cookies. And it just made life a heck of a lot easier. You know, like, you don't have time every day to make meat and veg for every meal. Sometimes you just want a quick, like today, I've got a full day of meeting amazing people like Kylie and Christine and Chantal, who's not here, but she will be later. And I just want some pate on toast. So that's what I'm going to be having today. So Deborah's laughing. That's good. Some gorgeous messages in the chat. Everybody wants that free gift. I know you want to chat too. It's awesome. So Christine saying she can definitely relate with some of those symptoms. Sharon saying yes. Jennifer says she's absolutely on a lifetime health journey. It's so true, Jennifer, isn't it? Like, you don't just go, that's me, 2-week reset, that's me, set for life. It's a work in progress with different challenges and things that come up all the time. Then you have to keep tweaking and refining based on the feedback your body's giving you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I used to think, oh no, I've got to do a bit of a reset because something happened. And then you're like, actually, no, that's okay. And it's so human nature to get away with as much as possible, right? That's human nature. So you go, oh, I'm feeling good. I'll just have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And you're like, my candida's overgrown again. And then it's like back to the reset, and that's totally cool. So Pam is dealing with breast cancer and other issues. Jennifer calls them rabbit plops. I know exactly what you mean. Yep. I was lucky. If it came out in a sausage type shape, I was happy. But normally, it was like rabbit drops. Dana says she's been on a health journey for years, been around in circles a number of times, but finally found out what works for her body. Yes. Oh, good on you. She's doing fasting, 16 and 8, lost 12 kilos, skin's cleared, no more headaches. Oh, yes. Good on you. And that's why we're here, eating and living this way, right? But we still want to eat pizza. So Kylie's saying eczema, skin issues from dairy and gluten, trying to change diet and eat healthier. Deborah says, yes, autoimmune disease that I've managed by changing my diet. Was on massive daily doses of anti-inflammatory medication for years and now taking no medication. Yes, I love that. I love that. Good on you, Deborah. That's so awesome. Belinda says her kids love the jellies. Deborah says Jo Whitten is my hero. She's my hero too. I love her. She's also like my business bestie now, which is like the coolest thing ever. Carl says, please tell me where I can find a decent recipe for mayonnaise, as I'm getting really frustrated with our connection. So I'm going to sign off and catch up later. Okay, well, mayonnaise. I have just put a new mayonnaise in the Primal Alternative shop. It's by the Undivided company, and it tastes exactly like homemade mayonnaise. And we've also got a Jevity mayonnaise in our shop as well. But if you want to make your own, I think the Thermomix one is the best one. But this mayonnaise is simple, really. Garlic, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, olive oil, eggs. Did I say eggs? Bit of mustard. Diana's saying she makes mayonnaise weekly. All right, loving Dubai. It's expensive, but it's good. Yeah, I agree, Pam. And I think I don't look at just the cost of a product. I think about what the time it would take for me to make it. A, get the ingredients. B, produce it. And C, what could I be doing with my time if I wasn't making mayonnaise? And I'm like, at what cost? It's so much better. Christine's been focusing on her health for just over 3 years, but this year I've actually focused on it properly. You don't realize sometimes how much more you can do. So true. So true. Okay. All right. So once I'd realized how life-changing the products were, I wanted to get it out to more people. Oh, pardon me. Let me just turn that off. How rude. But yeah, the idea of factories just didn't light me up. Like, I'm obsessed with factories. I'm obsessed with the Industrial Revolution in a way that I'm like, what have we done to our food? That's how obsessed I am with it. You know, making it in a factory just didn't float my boat. There's something about home cooked food. And, you know, give me a thumbs up or a yes or a hell yeah in the chat group if you agree that homemade food has got a different energy, a more of a healing energy. It's like it's infused with love. And if you think that's a bit woo-woo, then I know you won't, because you would be here. Everybody's saying absolutely, yeah, without a doubt, yes to home cooked food. So what I essentially did was I took all of the lessons I'd learned from making all my mistakes of getting the price wrong and doing it illegally, to sharing my kind of like business in a box with other women who are health enthusiasts like you, who'd already been on their health journey and they'd reached that point. These women have reached that point, and I'm sure you have too, and that's why you're here. They've reached the point where it stopped being a selfish journey. And when I say selfish, I mean that in a good way, because when we're really sick, we need to go inward to heal, or we need to focus on, maybe it's a child or a family member. We need to just focus all our energy on them. But once we get to that point where, you know, like you've been saying in the chat group, how you're off your medication, your brain fog's gone, and you've lost the kilos, and your skin's cleared, and you feel amazing. It's like you need a vehicle to channel that energy for good, for the greater good, right? And so these women had reached that point, what I call it self-transcendence, where you're like, right, I want to help others. And they wanted to do something, but they didn't want to reinvent the wheel. They didn't want to go back to uni. They didn't want to qualify as a nutritionist and develop their own brand. And they wanted to be doing it quick. So with this license, you know, I've seen people be up and running within 2 weeks from the day that they've signed on the line. And that's a pretty cool thing. And when I got it was an inspiration. I didn't ever sit down and go, right, I want to have a business and create a food brand. Like, never. It just came as part of my healing journey, was this whisper, like an intuitive nudge, to do this. And when I could visualize it, I was visualizing calling in a sisterhood. I'm an only child. I don't even know what a real sister's like. But I know that what I was wanting to create was this culture of collaboration, non-competition, where everybody celebrated each other. And that's what we did. And it's so cool. Like, I made a big stuff up yesterday, probably the biggest stuff up I've ever made during Primal Alternative. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've made a stuff up. So I found the solution, and I posted it in the Facebook group, and I took full responsibility for it. And I was like, okay, just be ready now, because they're probably going to be cross with you. But, you know, 99.9% of the Primalistas were like, H, you're human, don't worry, it's good, thanks for your solution. And I was just like, these women are amazing. Seriously, look at them. They are incredible women, just like you. Kylie says, I always spend lots of time when I'm shopping reading labels and making sure they don't have heaps of preservatives and additives. Totally. I'm the same as you. I'd love to set up a meeting H. Mistakes lead to positives. That's so true. That's so true. Everything's on the way, not in the way. I'm just going to put that link, primalalternative.com/apply. So that's the link to book a meeting. There's 12 questions on there. Pretty straightforward, tick boxy type things. You can go back and fill that out after the webinar if you want to. But that just helps me prepare. So we're not like, so where are you from? And how did you hear about us? You know, like we were straight into the meeting. Okay. So I would love to have a chat to you too. And yeah. All right. So what about you? Enough about me. Goodness, that was a long story, wasn't it? I didn't mean that to go that long. But let me know in the chat box, what's your why? Why are you here today? Why did you register for this event? Why have you turned up live? I'm very grateful you turned up live. You're amazing people. But let me know in the chat group. Just put the numbers in. You don't have to write it all out. Is it because you want to be your own boss? Do you want to contribute to the household finances? Do you want to work from home and choose your own hours? Coffee. Do you want to follow your passion and make a difference to others? Do you want to be there for your family? Or do something for you that's going to challenge you and help you grow? And if you can't find the chat group, just head to the top tab, 3 dots, more, click it. First button, chat. Ooh. It's really live, you know that, don't you? Because there's always a few little technical gremlins. Okay, so Christine says to do more of what I love, but also to help others with their health and wellness. Yes, bingo. Kerry says follow her passion and make a difference to others, work from home. Pam says love cooking, all food, but healthy food is even more rewarding. It's so true. It's all the fun without any consequences. Ali says all of them. Deborah says follow her passion, make a difference. And Sharon says, yeah, get on with it, H. 4 and 6. So follow passion, do something for you, and also find out the new thing. God, we've been here for half an hour. She hasn't even told us the new thing. Oh. And Dana always gets comments on her home baking. Makes her think about kind of the recipe. That's great. You know, when I worked in corporate, I used to take cakes in every week. And it's funny, I never would have thought of myself as somebody who loved to bake. I would have said I was really crap at baking. All the recipes I made were like birthday cakes were always a big fail, you know, conventional baking with the rising and all that faff. And yeah, but when I look back now, that was one of those things I loved to do. And yeah, feed everyone in the office. And now look, so what's stopping you from moving ahead? So here are the things. It's put your numbers in the chat group, please. Is it money? Is it time? Is it lack of know-how? Is it family duties, current job restraints, or fear, self-doubt, lack of confidence? So I like to take a holistic view to starting a business. We're not just here, I'm not just here today to sell you some fantasy. Oh my goodness, buy my thing and your life will be amazing. No, we need to look at both sides because there's both sides to every whole. And if we're just chasing the positives, we're chasing a fantasy. So I really want you to know what could go wrong in your business, because once you face the perceived disadvantages, which is what's stopping you from moving ahead, and having those fears, it's really just your inner thermostat bringing you into authenticity and to stop you chasing this fantasy. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, then that's good. And just really feel into those and think about, and we do this in the interview as well, like what's the big thing stopping you from moving ahead? Because then we can really mitigate the risk. When we think about time, like say it's time, you can say, right, well, how can we make time to make this happen in your life? You know, everything's figure outable, as Marie Folio says. So Kylie says time, job restraints, and fear. Good old fear. I love fear. You know, I love fear. When I was doing the wellness couch at the weekend and I had that little feeling of fear, and I was like, oh, good. I like that. Fear happens when you're on the border of support and challenge. So the challenge is just slightly more than the support. Guess what happens when you're in that spot? Guess what? Growth. And isn't that what we're here for? Growth, contribution, experience. Yeah. Oh, Kerry Taplin, kitchen reno. This is interesting. I really want to know more. Do you really need a kitchen reno? Or are you just saying you need a kitchen reno because you're creating a barrier in between? So many people say it. Oh, I'd love to do it, but I need a kitchen reno. You do not need to transform your kitchen into a commercial kitchen. It's a domestic kitchen model. It's for the domestic kitchen. And I have so many primalistas send me, potential primalistas, sending me pictures of like cupboards and hobs and stove tops, and I don't think it'll pass. And guess what? It normally does. So that's good. So don't let that hold you back. Let the EHO decide that. Just surrender that one away and see. I did it in a we've got a nice kitchen now, but when I first started, we were doing it in, like, we lived in a shed and we had like this kitchen that Mike the Chippy had pulled out of somebody's house. They didn't want it anymore. It lived by the side of under a tarp for 18 months before we put it into the kitchen. And it passed. I mean, it was clean. The surfaces were sealed and it passed. But yeah, I would have thought the same. Well, I'll need to go and hire a kitchen. Kitchen approval. Well, we'll get on to that. Okay, so hello, Eve. Eve's talking about a rental kitchen. So this is really important. If you live in a rented house, you'll need to get permission from your landlord before you do this, okay? And the key things that landlords want to say is that want to hear you say is that there's not going to be any customers coming to the house, so it's not a traffic issue, and there's not going to be any extra wear and tear on the property. But before you do your food business registration, you become a Primalista, because we can help you with the food safety program. Kitchen's geriatric. Send me some pictures, Kerry. Husband would say number 1, return on investment. Yes, Deborah, I've got some slides that I've specifically designed for husbands and partners. And I've got a page on the Primal Alternative website, because no husband's going to sit through this length of time. Like, my husband would never watch this, right? It's hard to get him to watch a 10-second video. Listen to this, babe. He's like, oh, is it about golf? Is it about fishing? Can't be bothered. So I've got a page, Deborah, and anyone else with a number crunching partner on the website. If you just Google, how much can I earn as a Primalista, Primal Alternative, it will come up. And I'm going to show you the content of that webpage today, because that's important. And don't forget, I am giving away a packet mix and some cookies to those of you who book your interview during this live presentation. So head to primalalternative.com/apply. And I'm checking my inbox to make sure that yours comes through. All right, who's this for? It's for people who love real food and health. They spend a lot of time in the kitchen already, even if it's a geriatric kitchen. They want to support others to be healthy, and they're looking for a new way of working that's not the old bricks and mortar 9-to-5 outdated paradigm hamster wheel, right? I could do a whole webinar on that. I'm not here to bring down the patriarchal system. I'm just here to contribute with a new way of doing things. And it's for people who are looking to align their vocation. So that's, your occupation, your purpose, how you earn your money, with your highest values. Leanne's saying, I'd love to develop a nut-free only business, but not sure if the product range is big enough to make this viable. We have a nut-free part of the business, but I would suggest that would be too niche. It would be niche from Nicheville, Tennessee, because we're already super niche, being grain-free. And what I love is that we've got offerings for people who are egg-free, people who are nut-free, people who are vegan, people who are paleo, people who are low carb. Like, we've got all of those people within the grain-free niche covered. So I would suggest that only selling the nut-free products might not be a big enough business model for you. But that's up for you to decide. You might prove me wrong. You might become the nut-free Primalista guru. So who's this not for? It's not for you if you don't want to start your own business, or if you're already happy in your bricks and mortar safe job, or if you know exactly what you want to do and you just haven't done it yet, or if you're a trailblazer and you want to figure it out for yourself, do a course, create your own brand. So we're getting to nearly the big reveal. Dun, dun, dun. What's the Primal Alternative range? Well, this is a picture of our whole range, apart from the plant. We don't do plants. That's just for a show. So as you can see, we've got the baked goods down there at the front, the packet mixes, bagels, pastry, cookies, wraps. And here is a bit of more of a wordy idea of what we do. So the things with an asterisk, that's what was in the range when I started the brand all those years ago. But we have a traditional range. That was before everybody got carb conscious. And what happened essentially was I was selling the zucchini bread at the markets and somebody came up to me and I'm sorry, but there's too many carbs in it for me. And I was like that. And then I was like, okay, this is actually really cool because we're so connected to the consumer, to our customer, that we can move with the trends so quickly. Whereas if it was big food company, it would take so much longer. But we can come up with a product. Like we came up with this new bit last week and we're launching today. How cool's that? So essentially the low carb range, I just took some stuff from the OG range and swapped out some of the ingredients so we could get a streamlined recipe, but with just a slight tweak and completely different product, completely different macronutrient panel. How cool's that? So here we go. Countdown, 3 more slides to the big reveal. Dun, dun, dun. So the bakery has been the OG. Do you understand what that means? And maybe you don't understand what that means if you don't have teenage kids. OG is like how you say original now. Just say OG. So breads, cookies, pizzas, and then recently we've introduced wraps, the no-nut hemp wraps, which are amazing. Sharon says, I'm waiting. She's tapping her fingers. Come on. Packet mixes, they came into the range in 2018. This was an idea of Primalistas, not my idea. And I poo-pooed the idea to start with, to be honest, because I'm a bit of a packet mix snob. But then I realized there was definitely a hole in the market for nutrient-dense whole food alternatives to mixes. So we brought that in and they've been going gangbusters. September the 1st, we launched our granola. So this one on the left is the no-nut hemp granola. So that one's got no nuts in, Leanne. And I've been doing all sorts of things with it. Bircher, porridge, muesli bars, chocolate crackles, or crispy cakes, as we say in the UK. And it is so delicious. You can literally munch those little clusters like popcorn. It's yum. Yum. And then this one on the right is our fat and seedy granola. So we've basically just taken the ingredients that we use in the breads, covered them in a butter. So the fat and seedy one is covered in peanut butter, and the no-nut one is covered in a hemp butter that we made up by our own selves. Kids can't get enough granola. Awesome. Have you tried the Primal Alternative one yet? I would love to know if you've tried that one. Millie, my daughter, we have this every morning. And you know what? It's the Primal Alternative to cereal. Because don't get me wrong, I like bacon and eggs sometimes, but sometimes it just feels too rich, too fatty, too faffy. And I really love the convenience of just tipping some cereal into a bowl. Get on with it, H. Come on. All right. Here it is. The new bit. Ta-da! Welcome to Primal Alternative Whole Foods. Look, isn't it beautiful? Look at that. Look at that lovely little sub-brand logo. That pretty little label. How easy is this? Let me know what you reckon. The big reveal in the chat group. Let me know if you think it's a good idea or not. Because, we've got the packet mixes, they've got the same profit margin as the baked goods, but it's less work for the Primalistas. They don't have to convert it. They don't have to bake it. And then I was just thinking, when I was working at the granola and I'm putting all of these, all this granola into these pouches, and I know how hard it is for people to get hold of real food staples like almond meal and seeds, coconut flour, pepitas, all of those sorts of things. And I thought, why don't we just pass on our bulk buying capacity so that our customers don't need to go somewhere else to get their almond meal? They can buy it from you because you've already got 10 kilos. So I put it to the Primalistas and they thought it was a great idea. Oh, thank you. This is so cool. So Pam, this is a public webinar. So most of the people who are here are just thinking about becoming a Primalista. So this is all, you must have missed it. I sent a few emails out last week and also in the Primalista Facebook group, but it's for the Primalistas to bake with. All right, so actually I'm just understanding your question now. And a couple of the Primalistas were confused as well. They were like, all right, so do we buy the almond meal from you and then we package it? No, Primalistas continue to get the ingredients. I know it's so simple. It's like hard to be like, is it that simple? The Primalistas continue to get their ingredients from their preferred suppliers. We have a list of preferred suppliers. So you don't need to come in and, work out where to get stuff from. We'll show you where to go, right? And they just get that 10 kilos of almond meal, bag it up, put on a margin and sell it on. It's that easy. How goes that? So Kerry says it's a brilliant addition. Dana says, awesome, and extension of what you're already doing. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, Christine. Yes, fantastic. Oh, I'm so with you. Oh, Pam's with me. Yay, Pam. So nice to see you, Pam. I haven't seen you in the group for yonks. Kylie says, nice. And less labor too. And Michelle says, what a great idea. I definitely have fun sourcing products here. Yay! So stoked. When you come up with an idea, so I came up with it. Well, I didn't come up with this idea, right? I told you, it's all inspiration. Things just kind of download. And I know I used to go, that sounds a bit crazy, but they do. I've cleaned up my diet. I feel like I'm this clear channel to receive intuitive guidance, I guess. And so this came through and I was like, oh, really? So soon after the granola launch? And I was like, I'll just sit on this for 3 days. I have this 48-hour window, but this one needed an extra day. And I was wake up in the morning, I'm like, is it still a good idea? I'm like, it's a freaking brilliant idea. And then the next day, yes. And then I did a Facebook Live in the Primalista group a couple of weeks ago to announce it and just to test, because, I think this is brilliant. And they might go, boo, rubbish, but they loved it. And then then you design the label and it went off to our graphic designers. I'm like, look at it, it's beautiful. And then you get so excited. And then I got really nervous before this event because I was like, what if everyone thinks it's a bad idea? So there you go. So here's the big reveal. Something new is coming. It's the Wholefoods. So as I said, we're sharing our bulk buying power with our customers to make nutrient-dense ingredients more affordable and accessible. Oh, we've gone back the other way. So it's kind of like a co-op kind of vibe. And if you have a market stall, so currently we're just going to be offering this to our direct customers. I don't think that our stockists will want to buy it. We won't be doing it at wholesale price because they will already get their almond meal and stuff like that in bulk anyway and be selling that. But this is more for if you imagine Primalista at a farmer's market, she's selling her breads, her packet mixes and the granolas, and the customer can also pick up some pepitas and almond meal while they're there. So we're starting with the almond meal, and then we will extend it to all of the Primalista ingredients. So we've got flours, nuts and seeds, but we're going to do it in a staggered, stepwise way, just so it's not too overwhelming, essentially. Okay, all right. So the Primal Alternative Wholefoods, just to summarize, it's just selling our ingredients. So the Primalistas weigh, package, and label. You do still need a food business registration. I was like, oh my goodness, this could be the thing. People don't want to register their kitchen. They could just do this. But I checked with the health department. You do need a food business registration. But because it's so low risk, our products are already low risk and we've got lab tests and food tech analysis to show that, and that's what you get in the food safety program. But What's the risk in just putting some almond meal from one box into a packet? Low risk. So much easier to get a food business registration. If you think, oh, I love this idea, but I don't want to be baking all day long, you could have a stonking business doing the granolas, or even not even the granolas, doing the packet mixes and doing the whole foods. You know, if you've sort of thought, oh, I'd love to do a co-op. You know, the reality that I see with a lot of women that do co-ops is they do it for free. And I believe that that's not cool, because there needs to be a fair and equitable exchange for everything in life. And if the woman's doing it for free, she'll get burnt out and over it. Even if she is getting her almond meal at a discount price, she'll be pissed off within no time and burn herself out. So it's not cool. So it's, you know, if you've thought I'd like to do a co-op, but you know, you want it to be a fair and equitable exchange, then this is great. You could even just have a stall at the markets selling whole foods, I reckon. I know there was certainly one at my markets when I did it. So it's a simple idea that's adding value with what we've already got and adding value to our customers. It's making real food staples more affordable and accessible. And it's less faff for the Primalistas. And I'm going to get into how much Primalistas will earn from this. Okay. So our model is on trend because it's meeting the growing demand for clean, low carb, keto, vegan, and paleo staples. It's home-based, so you can be your own boss. It's super supportive because you can collaborate with your Primalista sisters. It's essential industry, food. It's aligned with your values, which we've already chatted about at the beginning. It's built around your lifestyle and designed by you. There's no targets to hit. There's no awards for being the top producer. None of that. We don't even talk about, we don't even share with each other how much we earn or how much we sell, because everybody's version of success is very, very subjective and personal. It's healthy, and there is a heightened focus on gut health and immunity right now. And I think that will continue as long as the hand sanitizer continues. This focus on gut health and immunity will as well. It's done for you. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. The labels are worked out, the pricing's worked out, the brand's worked out, and it's low risk. So there's more chance of success with an established, reputable brand. It's fast startup. You can be up and running and making sales within a month, and it's low cost. So only $135 a week for the first year for your license and your membership. And then after that, just $25 a week. So don't forget, I'm here to take all of your questions. We're going to go to, at the end of the event, which is coming up soon, I'm going to invite you to all unmute and put your videos on, because I'd love to see your faces. And, but if you want to stay incognito and just put some questions in the group chat, then let me know and I'll answer them all. And I have not seen anybody book their interview yet. What are you playing at? Pull your finger out. I'd love to have a chat with you to see how this could look in your life. I have got 2 more weeks left before I close intake 3. So next Friday is the last day. The intakes coincide with the school terms, and I'll be off for a couple of weeks. So yeah, head to primalalternative.com/apply. You'll pick your time in your time zone, and we'll get to meet on Zoom and we can chat a little bit more about how this could work for you. So how does the license work and how can it work for you? I've put together a really short 2-minute video to show you what you get behind the scenes. Here's a sneak peek at what you get with the Primalista recipes and resources. Everything you need to know to create your Primal Alternative business is held on these 3 pages. So the 1 page is a welcome page, and then we also have the recipes page and the resources page. And I'd like to give you a quick look at those. So here on the secret recipes page, you'll find the recipes, the secret recipes. I can't click through there because obviously that'll reveal all of our trade secrets. But you'll also find how-to videos from me in my kitchen showing you how to make the products and how to package them. As you can see, we've got instructions on how to do the bread, the pizza bases, cookies, pastries, packet mixes, granola, whole foods, the new exciting part of the business. Very exciting. So on the resources page, you'll find a guided tour from me, just showing you where to find everything. And everything is here. You don't need to work through this and pass any modules or anything like that. You don't need to learn it all in one go. All you need to know is that everything you need on how to set up your business and how to run your business is here, and it's for you to dip in and out of as you need to. So say, for example, if you're just when getting started, you want to set up your email, here's how to get your email. If you're wanting to work out what to put in the online shop bundles, there you go. There's information on what to bake first, where to get your ingredients, and all of your supplies like labels and bags. We also have pricing guidelines, so you know exactly how much to charge. We have a profit calculator, so you can work out exactly your margin if you're interested in that kind of thing. Everything is on here, and it's just a case of diving in as and when you need it. And the other support that we have is our closed Facebook group. So if you can't find what you're looking for here in the resources, you can search within the Facebook group to find an answer straight away, or ask your question there, and you will be quickly and lovingly answered by either myself or one of the Primalista Sistas who's here to help. Now, you get access to the recipes and resources after your 7-day cooling off period. And during the cooling off period, you will get a sort of stepwise series of emails from me to help you get started with your food business registration, to help you get your insurance, to help you set up to get access to the recipes and resources, get your email set up, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's heaps of fun, very simple, straightforward, and it's all here for you.
Yay! I've just noticed I can see all your lovely faces on the video. Hello, gorgeous people. So cool. All right, I've done that one. Yeah. Okay. Right. So here's a little cooking demo, just really quickly. Primalista Shalisa is making fat and seedy bread. So she grated the zucchini, adds the seeds, nuts, eggs, reverse speed 15 seconds, scrape down the bowl, and then just mix till combined. Pour it into 2 tins. So each batch does 2 loaves of bread. Put on your poppy seeds, into the oven they go. So the recipes, the point here about the recipes is they are easy. They're just measure, mix, and bake. So here is a little video of me making pizzas.
Let's make pizza bases. So I'm going in first of all with the cashew nut milk. Then I'm going in with my egg. Then I am going to add the grain-free baking powder. And now in with the salt. Don't forget the coconut oil. So I'm just going to take that off the Thermomix and just scrape down the sides of the bowl. And just going to mix again, speed 5, 30 seconds. And then you're going to take your pizza tray and pop it onto the scales. So once you've measured it, I like to take it off the scales and then just spread it around using your spatula. So the pizzas are all done. So again, we want to take them off the tray straight away. And we're going to put them in the bag like this. And again, one last cuddle, squeezing the air out of the bag. And put the label in the center. And there you go.
So yeah, easy recipes. You definitely, I get asked quite a lot, do I need any catering qualifications? Do I need to be a nutritionist? No.
No, you do not. All right. So how much can you earn? I know that, you know, in the beginning we shared how this is so aligned with our values, but it needs to be a fair and equitable exchange, right? You don't want to just be doing this at cost or at your expense. So let's look at how much you can earn. And so this is making the baked goods. So, and this, you know, let's just be clear on this, that you'll never get a nice round order like this. You know, you're not going to get 20 of this, 20 of that, and 20 of the other. It'll probably be 3 of those, 6 of that, 10 of that, 60 of those, you know. So just, this is for illustration purposes only. Now, Primalistas have 2 prices that they can sell at. So they've got a retail price, which is when you sell directly to the end consumer, the customer. And they've got a wholesale price when they're selling to a business that sells on to the consumer. Okay. So obviously there's a higher margin if you're selling directly at markets, or if you're selling through your Facebook page or other networks like that. So this is based on selling 10 products wholesale, 10 products retail. So it's an average. Okay. It would take you about 10 hours to produce this. It may take you more or less time because everyone's different. And the Primalista takes full responsibility for their personal business development. I don't make any earning guarantees. I have to say that, right? But if you baked this amount, so this is sort of the size of bake I would do, split over 2 days, it would give you $1,198 gross revenue. Do you hear my cat scratching to get out? Bloody cats. Every time I do a webinar, a bloody cat wants to go out and then come back in again. I'll go and let her out in a minute. And that would be $625.40 gross profit to you. Just look at that profit margin while I let Mama out. Mama, I'm in the middle of a webinar. Okay, so generally the food industry gets a bad rap, pun intended, for having low margins. It's one of those industries you see a lot of people come in and leave quite quickly. But because the Primalistas have very low overheads, you know, you don't have a shop, you don't have a kitchen, you know, a commercial kitchen, you don't have staff, all that kind of thing, the margins can be really high. So as you can see here, if you were selling a pizza base, 63% of the profit is yours if you were selling that at a market. If you were selling at wholesale, you would get 35%. And because Primalistas usually have a combination of the two, it's just under half is profit to you. So here's those pie charts again with the cookies. The packet mixes. So you can see, look, the margin's really high on the mixes, but this product's got a 6-month shelf life and you don't need to bake it. You're just measuring your dry ingredients into a pouch, sticking a label on, and it's done. Cool, huh? And then the breads, all pretty similar, always about half. And then the Wholefoods business. There's that lovely pretty label again. I'm so in love with her. So on average, across different Primalistas across Australia, obviously, you know, to get products to me 6 hours south of Perth is more expensive than getting products to, for example, Deb in Victoria. So our Victorian Primalistas at the moment can source almond meal for around $8.45 a kilo. But I've averaged this out at $14.45 a kilo. Plus your bag and your label. We'll be selling almond meal 500 grams at $12 and 300 grams at $9. So Primalistas will be making between $4 to $6.50 per kilo. Per kilo or per half kilo? Per half kilo, which is cool, right? So it's a really nice margin. The shelf life is 12 months. So if you don't sell all of your products at the market, no dramas, you can bring it back, just keep it in a cool, dark place, and it will be ready to sell next time round. So let's look at startup costs. So these ones that are highlighted in green are costs that I believe you could recoup once you hang up your apron. So you've got your food business registration, which is about $500, depending on your council. Then you've got your insurance, which is about $50 a month. You'll need a Thermomix or some other kind of food processor, with a minimum 2-litre capacity bowl, I recommend starting with what you've already got to have a lean startup. And also to stop putting things in the way of you getting started, right? You'll need 20 loaf tins, which are $10.39 with our discount. Just on loaf tins, due to coronavirus, there has been the Australian distributor for our tins doesn't distribute them anymore. So I'm just about to sign a deal with the tin manufacturer to order 1,200 tins to store. I've now got a warehouse now that I'm doing the other products. Thank God I've got the warehouse now that I'm doing the other products for the online shop. So I'm ordering the tins, but there is going to be a 2 to 3 month delay on the loaf tins. Okay. I just want to be really upfront with that. I don't want that to stop you starting your business, because there are certainly Primalistas who can loan you some tins in the short term, or you could get started with the wraps, the pizzas, the cookies, the packet mixes, or the Wholefoods part of the range. You don't need to, and then bring breads in 2 to 3 months' time when we get the tins. So maybe those tins that are just about to be manufactured, maybe some of those tins are going to be yours. It's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to buy 1,200 baking tins. Never done anything like that before. It's pretty cool. So you've got your pizza trays, your cooling racks. You probably, if you bake already, you've probably already got some cooling racks. You'll need insect nets to go over the top. You'll need baking trays or cookie sheets. You've probably already got them. You'll need jelly molds or ice cube trays if you're going to do jellies. You'll need some accurate scales, baking paper. You get a spatula and apron from me. You'll need a hairnet. You'll need gloves. Labels, which you will, your labels, your bags, and your ingredients you need to buy before you can sell, right? But once you sell the product, you'll make that money back. So you're going to need around $1,800. Sorry, too much talking. You'll need around $1,800 startup costs. You might need to factor in another $200 or $300 if you want to do markets. If you don't already have a gazebo, a trestle table, I love that word, trestle table, and a banner, you might want to get that kind of thing done for your market stall. But I reckon you could make your money back on about $1,400 of that. But obviously it's not guaranteed, because I'm not going to be coming around shopping with you. So it would depend on what you choose to start with. And all of these costs can be incremental. You could buy your ingredients, you could buy your labels. It doesn't need to be a chunk of cash. So let's look at the total startup costs, and I'm going to break down the license cost in a minute. The license is $5,400, well, it's $5,500 plus the $1,800 startup costs. So that's a total of $7,299. As I said before, you could be up and running in anything from 2 weeks to 2 months. It's up to you. Most Primalistas tell me they want to start slowly and build up. And most Primalistas tell me they want to earn between $300 to $500 a week gross profit. So if you were earning $300 a week, it would take you about half a year to get a return on investment, which is pretty conservative, right? But if you're doing the $500 a week, it would only take you like 3 months to get a return on investment. I'm seeing Primalistas, we're just chatting, sharing numbers with me just casually because they want to. I'm seeing people do that in their first and second month, which is really cool. And so you don't need to pay a percentage of your profit to Primal Alternative. You pay the monthly membership, which is $100 plus GST, and the rest of the profit from the sales is yours, which is good, right? So Pam's saying you wouldn't need to get it all away to start, would you? Right now, I think I need to start with the packaged food. Yeah, whatever feels easiest to you, Pam. Just do that and write down a little list, action steps. Just do the easiest thing first, which is easy. All right. So a lot of people say to me, well, I could do this myself. You've done this. I could do it too. And you absolutely could. And I do think that the marketplace needs more people like you producing wholesome food. But if you're going to DIY, you're going to need access to capital. Who knows how much? I certainly didn't know how much it was going to cost to develop a brand like this. It was a lot more than $5,000. Close to more like $250,000. You would need to create a new brand, develop your unique selling point. What makes you different to all of the other food brands out there? It's a noisy marketplace. And if you're not adding value, you're just contributing to the noise. I like that one. I read that one on Instagram last night. You need to develop marketing. You need to build new systems. You certainly can't do all of this yourself. I've got a team that help me in the background in terms of marketing, in terms of graphic design, and all that kind of thing. So there's that new business risk as well. Will the product sell? Will there be a demand? But with a Primalista license, you're going to need access to capital, but you've got a rough idea of how much. It's an established brand with a predefined unique selling point. We've got every single flipping marketing material you could ever dream up. And if we don't have it, I'll just get it made for you. So we've got shopping lists and ordering lists and flyers and brochures and electronic brochures and banners and pull-up banners and that way banners and smaller banners and everything. It's all done for you. It's a supplied sales process. So as part of the recipes and resources that I showed you before, you'll get everything in there, including a script of what to say the first time you make a call. It's fully systemized. There's heaps of training and support. It's lower risk, which means more chance of sales and a predetermined demand. So essentially, the Primalista investment gets you from A to B quicker than if you started from scratch. That's it. So let's look at some of the first orders. So remember when I was sharing my story and I said when I first started selling, there was like 3 people and they were like, yeah, I'll get some jellies and the bread. And it wasn't like a pa-chow overnight success. But these are the sorts of first orders that Primalistas get when they launch in a new area because the people already know the brand. So this was Primalista Amanda. She's in South Australia. No, she's not. She's in New South Wales. I'm getting my people mixed up. And this was her first order and she got a message saying, well, they've sold out of bread and cookies in 2 days and just ordered 26 more loaves. Please send me a lifeboat. And this is Primalista Tara. Now, she is in South Australia. That was one of her first orders, and she said it was such a good feeling. It's very satisfying. So, ultimately, I think it's a freaking awesome business model, but it's up to you if you think it's a good business model and if you want to be involved. Now, I am so excited that Jennifer has booked her interview. So stoked to see. Thank you, Jennifer. Now, and that's all I've got. So if anybody else wants to book a chance to have a chat with me, head over to primalalternative.com/apply to get your packet mix and cookies. And don't forget, I've got 2 goodie boxes to give away. And I'll be doing that very soon when we get to the end of the presentation. Here's a good one. What if I fail? Do you remember at the beginning I was saying I really like to look at both sides, not just I want to do this because all the good reasons. I want to look at what can you handle it if it doesn't work out. So looking at the doubts and fears is a really awesome exercise. We all try and run away from the negative stuff and chase the positive stuff, but your intuition will pull you back into alignment every time and into authenticity. It's really normal to have doubts and fears. It's the saboteur shadow archetype, but it's there for a purpose. It's really helpful to explore the doubts and fears. And what I love to do is either just talk it through or journal it out, all of your doubts and fears, everything that could go wrong. Is it time? Is it money? Do you think you're enough? Like, I didn't think I was enough. Who am I to go and stand behind a market stall? I haven't got any food industry experience. I don't look the part. I could lose 5 more kilos. What are they going to think when they see me? All of that shit, right? You can just park that and work out what's your worst case scenario. So my worst case scenario with those sorts of ridiculous doubts and fears could be, maybe someone's going to call me out at the market and say, you're not a chef. Could I live with that? What would I say to somebody that said that? Of course they don't say that. That's just in here, that person in between those two ears, right? And what else is possible? You know, overcoming your doubts and fears means that you're a conduit for good in the world, which is so exciting. Oh, thank you, Christine. So hanging up your apron, let's talk about that. You know, the chances are that you're not going to be a Primalista for 75 years and you will want to hang up your apron. So what happens if that's the case? Well, if you want to hang up your apron, you just send me an email and let me know that that's what you want to do, and we stop. And that's it. You don't need to have any, you know, exit fees or anything like that. And everybody that I've spoken to within the community about stopping, I said, what if you fail? You know, what if you want to finish after a year? Like, is it going to be worth it? And this is what Primalista Peter said when she finished up in Albany just recently. She said, to all new Primalistas, this is a model that works, and it's such a wonderful journey to be on. Enjoy it, and remember the years of experience within the group, and every one of the Primalistas are there to make the journey easier, which is really cool. Bye, Kerry. That's cool. I know I've gone slightly over. Let's crack on. I'd love to let you hear a little bit from our existing Primalistas. So Primalista Tanya says, before I joined Primal Alternative, I was doing a job that was paying the bills, but didn't really fit my philosophy on health and diet and family life. Doing my first online order I was so pumped, excited, and motivated to do this well. I've never had a job that fills my bucket like this does, but also I've never been surrounded by a group of women that are so generous, supportive, encouraging, and genuinely interested in your success like I have here with Primal Alternative. I've worked in many female-dominated jobs, and this is so unexpected and refreshing. I know. I've got a heap of more testimonials. If you want to hear more from our Primalistas, head over to my IGTV channel, the blog for the Primiversaries, and definitely check out A Day in the Life of a Primalista, where you will see what it's like for Primalistas. Final call out for you girls to book an interview with me. What's holding you back? And let's just dive into COVID-19. Is now the right time? I'd love to share this video with you, and then this will conclude today's webinar. Hi, I'm Helen Marshall. I'm the founder of Primal Alternative, and I've been interviewing Primalistas around Australia to find how their business is going during the second wave of coronavirus. Because I know there's a lot of you out there that are really wanting to get started as a Primal Alternative producer, but are just wondering, is now the right time?
I just thought, whoa, is now the right time to be starting a business? Like, that's a bit crazy. So I hit the pause button, and I realized that after however long it was, 6 weeks, 2 months, I thought, well, people still need to eat. There's still a market for what Primal Alternative offers. So instead of the question being, why would you do this? It became, why wouldn't you do this?
Everybody still has to eat, and we can do contactless delivery, which is amazing. I don't think there's ever a bad time to start a business like this. It's practical, it's nutritional, and it can fit around your lifestyle.
I went from submitting my plans, my development plans, which is the first stage process, to actually getting the second stage approved and securing my visit with my environmental health officer and getting my food business license in 3.5 weeks. And this is obviously, you know, within social distancing requirements, so it comes.
Hi, I'm Helen Marshall. I'm the founder.
My food business license in 3.5 weeks. And this is obviously, you know, within social distancing requirements, so it comes to the door and would be very far apart, and you know, he kind of walked around my kitchen while I stood to one side. The council also, interestingly, didn't charge me any of the fees. I've paid 0 application fees. Particularly in Queensland, there's been a huge drive towards supporting small business. So it may have been part of that drive.
I haven't had any problems getting ingredients. What I've found over the time to now is that the freight is just taking longer. So when I first ordered ingredients, I was getting them like in 2 days from Melbourne. And I was like, woo, it's easy. I'm just going to have to check my stock at the beginning of the week before my weekend bake, and then if I'm short, I'll just, I have to be a bit more organised now because it's taking like 7 to 10 days now. So that's, I guess, the only thing that I've found has been a little bit of a, a little bit of hurdles, that I have to be a bit more organised and a bit more looking at my bake for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
During the COVID times, it has taken away some of that, I don't know how to describe it, how you're lethargic because you're just so over it all. And to be able to get up on bake day and go, it's bake day, all I can concentrate on this morning is baking and have some joy.
The word that comes to me immediately is uncertainty. What you can be certain, if you're sitting on the fence, will I or won't I, what you can be certain is there is certainly support. So there is support going through the steps in getting the license and so on, just what I just said before. But there's also that support with the other Primalistas. So there's certainty in that.
I didn't like that uncertainty of not knowing when am I going to be called back to go to work, if that would even happen at all. So I just thought, well, I need to try and do something that is going to just help create that certainty that I have control over. Obviously, you don't always have control over, orders that are coming in from sort of general public, but obviously you do have a certain certainty by setting up, stockists and that type of thing. So that was really the determining factor of going for the Primalista license at this time.
We don't know when things are going to change and what's going to happen. Nobody really knows how this is going to pan out. So what are you waiting for? I mean, who would know? This could carry on for another 12 months. Why not start now? I mean, there's a whole bunch of us that did, and we're doing it. We're out there selling bread. People are thanking us. I get thanks every single market. I get thanks. Thank you for providing nutritious food. Thank you. We still need it. People out here, people are saying these words to me. People out here still need nutritious food. Thank you. And so I guess that's what I would say very simply is it's still so important, and COVID's not a thing to stop you.
And just go for it. Just don't let those fears and that negative talk take over and waste time on something that you really want to do.
There's no rule book. There's no one saying you shouldn't start a business. There's no one saying the world has to stop. And, food is essential, and especially for people with dietary requirements, or people that want to continue eating that way, making food more convenient just seems like a no-brainer.
So all of those Primalistas that contributed to that video, they started their business during coronavirus, from March onwards. I think we've had close to 30 Primalistas join us since then. So let's look into current council exemptions. So I got in touch with, because I heard from Primalista Shah, who said, she didn't even have to do a design application. And so I just checked with my Department of Health. And so this is what they told me for Western Australia. And you would definitely need to double check with your council. But the exemptions are in place for as long as there is a declared state of emergency in Western Australia. The exemptions allow home business to operate without needing to go through the developmental approval process, which is the first thing. You normally need to get planning approval to have a business from home. If you start a home business, all you need to do is advise council within 7 days of starting, and they'll record your details for a future follow-up. The exemption expires 3 months after the conclusion of the state of emergency, and the use will then need to be formalized. Cancel, add you to the list of businesses, and then they'll follow up within 30 days. So a lot easier to get started. And there is another silver lining, I guess. So what does that mean? It just means that if getting a food business registration could be easier, there's no need to lodge a DA. It could cost you less, but check in with your local council. So I had a question from Sharon, just confirming the cost. So when I was talking about the getting started costs, so I said $1,800 for your equipment, which is on top of so there's the getting started, there's the license, and a membership. So just to clarify that here, you can go with the payment plan package, which is what the majority go with. So it's 12 monthly payments of $475, which is $5,600. So that extra $200 just basically covers the payment gateway and admin needed to do a payment plan package. You also get I'm sorry, I'm going fast because I'm trying to wrap it up quickly. $1,200 of Primalista bonuses. So you save $1,200 with this package. If you want to pay up front and get it, a sunk cost out the way, you can pay $5,499, save $200. You still get the bonuses. And if you want to do the mastermind package, which is really popular at the moment, that's $8,499 with the license in there, plus 6 one-on-one monthly coaching sessions with me, 6 2-hour access of messenger voice chat. So you can just get on and have a chat to me and I'll chat back to you, plus the bonuses. And that one's $8,499. So you can choose whichever one you want. When you go to apply for an interview, it asks you which one you want to go for. That's not locking you into anything. It's just to give me a rough idea. So hopefully that clarifies it. The bonuses are here. And when you get made an offer as a Primalista, I'll send you this out as well. But you get my business blueprint, which is basically an 18-page beautiful PDF that you can print out and help you set your goals and create the why for your business. You'll get Thrive, which is my 21-day clean living journey, Aligning for Success, which is a tapping course to help you clear through all of those normal doubts that we all have before we start a business. You'll get Set for Life, which is my inner work to create that incredible life, an organic fair trade apron and a spatula, plus a one-on-one session with me. If you want to take that, you can. So there we go. Now, don't forget the call to action for this event is to book your interview, primalalternative.com/apply. And finally, we'll get to your questions. Now you can either, I'm going to stop the share. You can either continue to chat in the group, or you can pop your video on, unmute yourself, and we can, you can ask your questions, and I'm happy to stay and answer till all the questions are asked. So I've got a couple of questions in the chat group. If you're buying ingredients in bulk, can you store them in another room? If you don't have room in your kitchen, do you just need to tell council where you're storing them? That's a great question. My kitchen, as I told you before, was tiny. So I used to put things in those plastic storage boxes from Bunnings and just put them in my bedroom. And then, because it's cold and dark in there, right? And then wheel them out every time I wanted to bake. And council are happy so long as your storage is rodent proof. That's what they like. Kirsten says, is it possible to change my interview time to an earlier time? Yes, it is. If you just go onto your interview thing and then click change cancel and then pick another time, you will be able to do that. I've got times available today as well. If any of you are thinking of booking and they want to do it today, I am free. All right. Anybody got a question? Just raise your hand and I can unmute you. Everyone's gone quiet. Nobody dares say anything. Got nervous now, didn't you? Oh, Kylie's got one. Let's unmute Kylie. There you go.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
So what about things like shows, like for example, like food shows, like I know like occasionally at the convention center they've got like a gluten-free show. how do you go about if you wanted to do something like that, and like if other Primalistas, like, I don't know, how does it work around things like that?
That's a great question. So that would be, I would say, like for like events, I would call it an event. So we do events, like if so somebody was mentioning before, I think it was Dan, I think she's gone now, but they saw me at a quirky cooking event. We got the Pete Evans events, we do the wellness summit, we do Cindy O'Meara's nutrition summit. So all of those are great places to go, much more fun to do with someone else. It's bloody hard work on your own, right? But you get together with a few Primalista sisters in your area, and you go for it and you do it. I would say just on the gluten-free expo, we're more targeted to the grain-free people, and no disrespect to gluten-free people, but quite a lot of gluten-free people are just looking for gluten-free. They're not necessarily looking
for sure,
the nutrient dense. So I've done the more mainstream ones, and it wasn't as much fun as the
fair enough.
Cool.
Awesome.
There you go. Thank you, Kylie. Christine, did you have a question? Did I see you raise your hand? Oh, you've raised your hand. Oh, you've even done it on Zoom. That's so cool. Go for it.
Hi. I've just got a quick question about when you've got friends and families in other towns where other Primalistas are, and if, those family want to buy like the prepackaged stuff from you and not the Primalista that's in that town. Is that perfectly fine, or what's the go there?
That's a great question. Yeah, look, that's perfectly fine. When you get a Primalista license, you get a license to sell product anywhere in the world. So if your mates want to order directly from you, they'll just order directly from you and you can ship it out to them. Or if they want to, they can go and find a local stockist or a market and buy from. It depends. Like sometimes I see the Primalistas coordinating with each other in the group. If they're in Western Australia and they want to get something to Victoria, it's probably better to ship it closer, the fresher stuff. So you can do whatever you want either way, whatever works for you.
Okay. Can I ask one more question?
You can ask as many questions as you like.
Okay. Have you got any Primalistas that extend the business into another business and use the products to make other foods? And so it's kind of like two businesses in one, or like?
Love it. Yeah, love it. So some of the Primalistas will do ready-made stuff at markets. So they might sell, bone broth or soup, and then they've got toasties to go with it. So you could. And I also see quite a lot of cafes will buy our products in at wholesale price, and then they will, add value by turning it into a pizza or making a lasagna with the pastry or something like that. So yes. It just depends on how much you can do of that from your domestic kitchen, or whether you're going to get a commercial kitchen and go next level.
Yeah. Okay. And one more, just really quickly. So what about if you've got your partner that wants to help? So not the actual making it, but say like putting labels on packaging, or, shutting the packets to help out if they want to do that. Is that allowed as well?
Yes. Yeah. So you can get people to help you with any aspect of the business apart from the production. So only you can see the recipes and only you can produce them, because it's your name on the label as the producer. But you can get, the family members, husbands, teenagers are really useful for helping with labeling, bagging, writing, packaging, lifting heavy boxes to get to your markets, delivering to your stockists, posting on Facebook, all of those sorts of things family members can help with as well. So yes, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Christine, and I'll see you soon. Oh, everybody's asking questions now. It's exciting. Okay, Jennifer, go for it. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to unmute you. Oh, there we go.
Me too.
There you go. We're probably doing it at the same time.
Based on an extension of what Christine was asking, I think, I can't see properly, about family members and whatnot helping. I wonder how that would go with tax purposes.
No idea. I have to deflect all accounting questions because I'm not an accountant.
Yeah.
But for tax purposes, I don't know. Like, it depends if you would employ somebody. I mean, that's a really good question for your bookkeeper or accountant.
Yeah,
If you're
because I
paying
have a
them.
son. Yeah, okay. I wondered about that. I'd imagine you would have to do separate PYAGs and whatnot there too for them. Yeah,
Unless they're
so
just
that's also
casual.
considered.
Unless they're just working for you casually.
Casual.
Yeah. Could get, as a contractor.
Yeah. Yes, that was a sole contractor was another thought process there too, Helen. H, yeah, I like to be called Jay, so hi.
Oh, hey, Jay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah,
I get Joe Whitten always calls me Helen, sorry, H. That's the Helen. Oh, sorry, H. That's just Helen, sorry, H.
That's what you just did to me. Yes, it makes sense. Well, it kind of it takes out the thing of people calling you the shortened version of the name that you actually don't want to be called too, like Jen or
You don't like Jen.
Jenny. I hate it.
All right, I'll make a note. Don't call her Jenny, whatever you do. Well, I was interested, and then she called me Jenny, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was over.
Back off. Yeah, absolutely. Don't touch this.
No, that's so
yeah.
funny.
I mean, this all resonates with me. I've cooked for years for friends over the years, not for the last few years because of severe health issues. I'm actually, shall we say, very physically challenged. And I was hoping to have more focus on the kids. And now that you've mentioned today the Wholefoods sort of things, that floats my boat. That's what I'm interested in and keen on. Have you had much success with other Primalistas focusing largely on that side of things?
Well, we've only just launched the Wholefoods range today.
Yep.
So, time will tell. And I guess that, it might be hard to build a business at this stage just on the almond meal. I think
I was thinking the kits.
Oh, the kits.
Sorry.
Yeah, the packet mixes. Yeah, right. Gotcha. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that most Primalistas do a range of things from what I can gather. We don't do any sales reporting, so I don't get any lists of what people are selling and how much they're doing because we don't do that. But you can build a business based on what you want to do.
Yeah. I sorry. I like to have thought processes too because they just go in my head and I've got to sit back sometimes and go, okay, let's process.
Give it the 48 hours,
Yeah, till tomorrow. That's why I allowed some time. Absolutely. But yeah, that would definitely be my focus. But the question on additional to that would then be, could I get other Primalistas to perhaps do some of the baking if they were up to it?
You could, so for example, if you were going to do a market and you could buy the product at wholesale from a Primalista and then sell at retail and make that margin, you can definitely do that. And there's some Primalistas that don't do pastry, and so they'll buy the pastry from another Primalista and pass it on. There's less of a margin, obviously, but then there's less effort too for you. So there's lots of things there you can do. There's lots of different facets to it and different ways to make it work. Yeah.
Well, the energy levels are quite low, so to take a lot of the work out would be a lot better for me.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, it's been a 50-year health journey. So, but the other, if I was able to do markets down the track, how would people visualise me selling from a wheelchair? Being the promotion of healthy nutritionists and all the rest of it, that was one of my go-tos earlier. People's perceptions.
I don't know, and what people are like, different perceptions. It wouldn't put me off. at all. And, you know, a lot of people within our group are dealing with all sorts of different health issues. One Primalista in that's coming to mind, you know, is dealing with MS. So she's got to really manage her energy, and that it really comes down to good boundaries and making sure, you know, that you don't take on too much. And only you would know. Like, I don't know. Only you would know whether
I'll
it
push
was
myself
right for
too
you.
hard, so
That's so true. Now, thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jay. God, I nearly called you Jenny. My God, I'm just going to mute you because I've just got a question. And the beautiful Christine. No, who's changed their appointment? Was it you, Christine? Did you change it to earlier? Yeah, cool. So that's happening in 10 minutes. And I definitely need to make another coffee before then. So I'm going to wrap it up really soon. But don't forget, I do have these 2 beautiful packages. And I've left it to the end because, you know, we started with 22 people and now we're down to 8. So I'm so grateful you've hung around. I know we've gone over 40 minutes. Kylie and Jen and Christine, you're all getting a packet mix and some cookies sent out. And I'm just going to, I'll get your addresses when I interview you and I'll get those sent out. But from the people who are left, so I've got Sharon, Leanne. I don't know if I've got 2 Sharons, but I've got Sharon, Eve, Julie, and Leanne. And I'm just going to intuitively pick 2 of you. Julie, Eve. So you have won their package. It's a goodie package of a loaf of bread, a packet mix, and a cookies and a bag of granola. I'll just write that down. I didn't know what it was going to be in it, but granola, bread, packet mix, cookies. So if you could please congratulations, well done. If you could please email me your address, info@primalalternative.com, and I will get our nearest Primalista to send those out to you. Quick question from Sharon, and I think Kylie's got another question, and then we'll wrap it up. Did you still have another question, Kylie? Give us a nod. Yep, got a question. Cool. I'm just going to answer Sharon's question about, do you limit licenses in suburbs and regions? No, at this point, we're nowhere near saturation point. When you think that a Primalista really only needs a couple of stockists to keep her busy, you know, there's so much room for so many Primalistas. And what we do in the interview, Sharon, is we'll go through your potential stockists. I'll get out the Primalista stockist spreadsheet and we'll check it off and make sure the places that you want to approach haven't already been spoken to. And if they have, then we'll make the call. Is there enough space for you in this area or not? So you'll know, it won't be like you'll get in and go, oh, all the places I wanted to talk to are already being spoken to. Because how much would that suck? That would just be really, really sucky, crappy nastiness. So there you go. All right, final question from Kylie. I'm trying to unmute you. There you go. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just wondering, in regards to like partners helping out and stuff, what happens, say we were doing markets and like I couldn't make it one week, can my partner say go to the market and sell the products for me?
He certainly can. Yep, absolutely can.
Yep.
I know that does happen already. And so, so just to clarify on that point, you can get help with anything, but only you can make the product.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, cool. Okay.
All right, there we go. All right, well, thank you. I really, really liked seeing everyone's face. I'm gonna do this more. But if I can just get you to, I'm just gonna get you to unmute. I'm gonna unmute you all. And what I want you to do is just say, oh, I've tried to unmute you all. Oh no, it's working. Yeah, Julie, unmute. Yeah. All I want you to do, oh, Jennifer's still muted, is just say, bye.
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 Love it. Thank you for coming, and hopefully I will get to see you for an interview very soon. Lots of love. Bye.